there were two occasions in national cricket with regards to minimum wage. Now, MTUC's demand has been a minimum wage of 900 ringgit and a COLA of 300 ringgit per month for employees in the private sector. We were, on a personal note, I was completely surprised that the National Wages Council that was formed as a result of the National Wages Council Act 2011 had made a recommendation that minimum wage be set at 900 Malaysian ringgit, but incorporating fixed payments in cash. Now, what that really means is minimum wage is not 900 ringgit in this country. It is a composite income. It's a total income, gross income of an employee. The definition of wages under Section 2 of the Employment Act 1955 excludes certain payment and includes certain payment. This is going to give rise to a lot of dispute in the private sector, where there are two big groups of people. One who are organized, which is about only 9% of the workforce, and the remaining 90% of the workforce are not organized. While the organized sector will have the unions to monitor and to negotiate with the employer to decide on what will go in and what will go out of the component, 90% of the workers who are not covered by collective agreements, who are not organized, will be at the mercy of the employer. He will then be making decisions as to what constitutes fixed cash payments and which doesn't constitute. Then it brings us to the next question of how is the government going to implement and oversee the implementation of the 900 ringgit minimum wage in the private sector. The only agency now would be the Labour Department. They are entrusted with the minimum wage, entrusted with implementing wages, overseeing the implementation of wages. Now, our concern is that whilst the government has not met our demand that it be 900 exclusive of all other payments, and it has not even given any consideration the cost of living allowance. We, on a personal note, as a union man, I am strongly opposed to the announcement of the new 900 minimum wage. Ideally, it should have been 900 minimum wage without incorporating any fixed allowances. That ideally should have been the rate. Even then, it is our opinion that 900 ringgit at the current social economic conditions is insufficient for people to survive, workmen to survive. And it's about time that the wages be fixed at a realistic figure. We must not forget that wages in our country has been suppressed. It has not grown. It is in fact suppressed over the years. And the currency, the value of our currency is also very much undervalued. So there are this other related issues which actually undermines the current take-home wages, which is disposable income we are looking at. Therefore, we urge the government to reconsider the announcement of the minimum wage, which is fixed at 900, incorporating fixed allowances, fixed payments in cash. At the minimum, at the least, the government should fix 900 minimum wage without any other component. That's what we will urge the government. We will urge the government to do. Failing which, I would call upon the Malaysian Trade Union Congress, MTUC's leadership, to reconsider its position as to whether we should continue on with our demands for 900 basic salary and a $300 COLA. Ultimately, that should be our struggle to fix that too. We should, on this Labour Day, on this auspicious day, MTUC Penang Division would also call upon the government to completely review the various labor laws that exist in the country, many of which are obsolete, many of which are very repressive. Because if you want to if you want to get out of the middle income trap towards a high income society, then you got to empower the people. You got to empower the workers. You got to empower the workers. You got to allow for greater unionization of workers. You should remove restrictions on organizing. You should remove, various procedures that are involved in organizing. The only way that workers can empower themselves is to be given the right to be empowered, and that right should be very independent of labor legislation. Labor legislation should not curb the rights of people workers to be empowered. If you empower workers, workers will have the position, greater negotiating position, greater bargaining position, so to speak, to negotiate with employers. So that would be our call. One, set minimum wages at realistic levels, 900 plus COLA 300. Remove all restrictive laws. Withdraw amendments to the Employment Act 1955, legalizing contract system. Remove all the restrictions in law which negates organizing work, which hampers, which defeats the right to organize and the right to collective bargaining. So that would be our demands on this auspicious day. Not as a whole, as I understand. We in Penang, I as a trade union official, I as a trade union is involved in this field for so many years. I believe that the MTUC should reconsider. MTUC should reconsider whether it should continue on with its struggle for a 900 minimum wage, because that was our demand, and there's no reason to compromise on our demand when the rates, the minimum rate that was announced, will itself create much more disputes within the organized sector. But outside the organized sector, the unorganized sector, people are left in limbo. You don't know how you're going to administer. Who is going to ensure that they are paid the 900 minimum? You know? And employers can easily, convert many payments into fixed allowances, continue to pay low wages, increase allowances that can be fixed, allowances can be variable, and then you have a whole host of disputes that are going to come out of it. We've always been for retirement age of 60. Right? We have been told, we understand that the government is going to make an announcement or going to table the retirement age bill in Parliament in June. And we look forward to the government announcing a retirement age at 60 for employees in the private sector. Hopefully it is done in June this year. There's definitely a need to review and relook at the entire spectrum of labor laws in this country. Some of them are very old, 1955, 59. So some of the provisions have never been reviewed for 30 over years. For example, the termination and layoff benefits of regulations that was introduced in 1980. The termination layoff benefits have not been reviewed. The rates have not been reviewed. It's still that very small payment of 10 days for each year of service if you're less than 2 years, 15 days if you're more than 2 years but less than 5 years, and if you're more than 5 years, 20 days payment. So an employee who's retrenched after 10 years of service only lands up with 200 days of pay. And therefore, the law has not progressed, though the country has progressed tremendously. Over 1980 to 2012, that's 32 years, and we have not made any amendments to that. Whereas wages have continued to be suppressed. When you're retrenched after 10, 15, 20 years of service, you get a small sum of money, and with the escalating cost of living, whatever retrenchment benefits that you have is completely wiped out over a short period of time. We also urge the government to introduce this retrenchment or unemployment fund. Nothing has been said about that. The NICO workers were retrenched when company closes down. For example, like NICO that closed down in Pride 2 years ago, the workers have not got a single cent until today. So we want the government to also consider this unemployment insurance, unemployment safety net, so to speak, unemployment safety net for these cases of insolvency. We're also looking forward, we also have been urging the government to review certain provisions in the Companies Act, which gives priority of payment to secured creditors over unsecured creditors like workers. Workers are considered unsecured creditors. We are not secured creditors. So even if your retrenchment fund, if the employer says, I'm prepared to pay, but if the company becomes insolvent, the Companies Act says you are down, the payment is right down at the bottom of the heap. In many cases, people don't get. You get judgments from the Labor Department, Labor Court, but you don't get your money because the money is given on to all the secured creditors priority, and by the time whatever money they have, they come, you're at the bottom, they have no money to pay. So that provisions has to also be reviewed. There is a complete need, it's an urgent need for the government to sit down and look at all the various laws that are related to labor and to make amendments and to make adjustments to these laws, or if need be to rewrite this law so that it reflects the current social economic condition. It reflects social networks, it reflects current needs of the working class, which is different 30 years ago as compared to now.